Coach, back-to-back state championship appearances. What were the challenges your team faced this season getting to this point?
I tell you, we had a lot of challenges. They were reading off all the great records of all the teams that are here, and then you threw us in there at lowly 9-5. And there's been a lot of challenges. You know, we graduated 32 seniors off of last year's team, one of the best teams I've ever coached. And coming into this year, we had 9 seniors on this team, which is kind of a crazy amount at Scotland. Usually we have 25, 30 every year, but this was just a weird group. And then we go into our first game and our quarterback tears his ACL. Then we go into our third game and our starting right tackle tears his ACL. And then I forgot, before our very first practice of the year, our starting middle linebacker tore his ACL for the year. And then we go into week 9 and my starting defensive end, who's a Duke commit, messes his neck up and can't play the rest of the year. So it has literally been something. Every week there's been a challenge. Then you had the hurricane that really affected our area, and the cancellation of games. And it seems like we never played on a Friday. It was always on another day of the week. So it's really been a rewarding year to have all that happen. And for us still to end up here, it has been one of the most rewarding years as a head coach that I've had.
And through all that adversity, what's the biggest thing you think your team has learned?
Well, just to sort of count on each other. Our big motto has been, this is all we got, but it's all we need. And Superman's not coming through the door. It's we're going to have to rely on everybody and these coaches that are here. And I tell people all the time, we won a lot of games because of the name on the front of the jersey, not the name on the back of the jerseys. Yeah, it's really a team mentality. When we've had this adversity, the next players kind of stepped up. We've really started more freshmen and sophomores on our varsity than we have seniors this year. And so it's been an interesting way to go about it, a little different than in the past. In the past, we've been a prohibitive favorite in most of our games, and this year we've been a pretty heavy underdog. And so we've kind of embraced it and kind of that us against the world mentality. And I tell people, as a coach or as an athlete, nothing's more gratifying than proving a lot of people wrong. And even some of our own fans kind of jumped off our bandwagon. And we have a great fan base, and I don't blame them. Proving a lot of people wrong has been a motivating factor for us.
And it seems like you guys always have star running backs.
Yeah.
You have two running backs over 1,000 yards this season. What's the philosophy in the running game?
I'm one of those old school guys kind of committed to running the football, and we've been very blessed. Smiley McQueen's been around forever, and he hurt his MCL and was actually out 3 or 4 games, so he'd have a little bit more yards than what he has if it wasn't for that. And Papa McCoy, our other running back, are 2 seniors. They've been around, they know the system. But our philosophy is to run the football, play great defense, shorten the game if we can, especially this year. In the past, last year we averaged 50 points a game, and we were playing as fast as we could. This year, not so much. Our offense has struggled to score as much. So we've been more of a ball control, eat the clock, and try to play great defense. And that's really been the formula for this year's team.
And going against East Forsyth, what's going to be the keys to come away with the victory?
I tell you what, they're a great football team. Coach Willis done a great job with that program. Me and him go back a ways. We've been friends, and very impressive football team. Their offensive line is huge. They have 2 good running backs as well. One's sort of thunder and lightning. One's a tough downhill guy. The other one's a sort of a scat back that can go the distance on any play. And then they got a couple wide receivers that, when you start playing the run, they'll throw it over your head. So can't give up a big play defensively. Got to keep them in front of us. And then their defense, they got a young man going to NC State at safety. He's as good as anybody we've seen on film. And then they got a couple of D linemen that are really big kids. They're going to be tough. And their team speed on defense is second to nobody. And then the other thing they're really good at is special teams. They've scored a lot of kickoff returns, punt returns, a lot of special team scores. So we're going to have to play good in all facets of the game. But I really think the key is don't give up big plays on defense, and then offensively play a little bit of keep away, try to control the ball as much as possible. And then special teams, we cannot have special teams blunders because they really feed off of that.